think the ideal body for women in this society is totally smooth.
Real smooth, baby skin, no hair.
Porcelain skin, soft skin, pretty much thin, petite, no body hair.
For the majority of the world, like a completely unrealistic beauty standard to hold oneself to. So that's great for capitalism.
What you see in the media is these men with like stubble and smooth chest hair, and then when the woman has chest hair, body hair, leg hair, armpit hair, they're associated with, you know, lack of hygiene, lack of self-care. Right now, you're seen as like a hipster trying to follow a trend. People tell me I'm trying hard, but I'm literally doing nothing.
When I was younger, I moved to a new town. My first day, like, all these boys were passing notes to me, like, saying how hot I was. So that was, I feel like, maybe the first, like, inclination of, like, oh, I'm supposed to be, like, this hot girl that, like, the boys want. It was just kind of a position that I had been placed in. Like, I didn't really have to fight for it.
I grew up in a very white community. All of my friends had, like, blonde hair and just, like, looked really good all the time, like, without trying. And I was somebody who had to, like, prepare 2 hours to wake up early to, like, make sure I had no hair on my face. And I wanted to be like these girls. It was like survival tactics.
My culture and a lot of cultures that are similar, Hispanic, Caribbean cultures, they had their period and it was, like, bad. You essentially went from this young child that they didn't really have to worry so much about to this young woman. It was just like, don't have sex, we're not gonna have this conversation, you're menstruating, I'm not gonna talk to you about it, here's a pad, and shave yourself when you go outside because that's what you're supposed to do.
I feel like I started shaving end of elementary school, like beginning of middle school. And I remember, like, sitting in my mom's bathtub and, like, using her razor and, like, doing it, not necessarily behind her back, but, like, not telling her that I was doing it. And I remember shaving, you know, like, my vagina for the first time and stuff at, like, a very young age, just because I thought that, like, I heard, like, boys at school talking about it or something.
I would just get looks like, oh, like, what's that on her arm? Like, that's really gross.
You know, it would be summertime and we'd be wearing a skirt and I would feel so much shame. I remember pressuring my mom. Please, 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 please. And I remember the first time that she allowed me to shave, how happy I was. There was a point where I was literally shaving, like, here down.
I was shaving everything. My legs, my hand, like, my arms, my stomach hair. I have, like, kind of, like, stubbles here, but I didn't touch those because they were so light. My back, oh yeah, that was so hard. Shaving your back is really difficult. And I wouldn't even shave my back in the shower. I would have to shave it in the sink because I had to look and make sure there were no patches, because if I had patches, that means people would know I was shaving, but I couldn't let people know I was shaving. I needed to show people that I was born without body hair. So, like, I got my pubes waxed, like, pretty early, full on, like, everything. Brazilian, yes, Brazilian. It just sucked. It was so painful. It was crazy because whenever I would come home, I would just, like, lie in bed and just think about what I was doing and accepting it, that it was like, okay, this has just become a part of my life, even though it hurts so much.
It just got to the point where I feel like if you do something that's so impractical for long enough, it's just like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm wasting precious moments of my day, like, doing all of this when I'm probably just gonna throw on some jeans and, like, leave the house.
When I transitioned into college, I became less self-conscious and I just didn't care. I was like, I cannot keep up with this routine. This is too much for me. I stopped the practice of removing my body hair, so my body hair was just, like, it was there, it was existing. And then I was also creating, like, in conjunction to, like, to being that person. The person who is healing, letting go of social construct and society standards.
I was struggling with acne, and that was a huge problem for me, and I was trying to conform to what the kind of this fashion industry standard of myself. That was in the period where I was, like, taking 45 minutes to do my makeup every morning just to put on, like, a base. The stopping shaving thing wasn't, like, a radical, like, I'm gonna stop shaving now. Grew out my armpit hair and then, like, maybe shaved once and then was like, actually, why did I just do that? Like, I regret it. It was very much like me trying to accept myself fully. Even though I believed in all these things, if I'm packing on makeup every morning or shaving every day to, like, just feel like I can lift my arm in front of people, like, it just goes against what I'm, like, what I believe in.
People would call me, like, unhygienic. People would say, you know, I'm disgusting. I remember I found this crazy one in Spanish, like, just calling me, like, a dirty fucking pig. Then family gets involved, and they get involved because it's like, is she okay? Like, is her safety okay? When it's just like, I think I'm safe, but I don't even know, because it's hate coming from all these different sides.
When I stopped shaving my leg hair, there was, like, a moment that I was, like, laying in bed and looking at my legs and was like, oh, I kind of want to shave right now just to feel, like, a bit more sensual. And then I was like, why do I think that having no hair on my legs would make me more sensual? When in reality, like, this is my most natural, like most sensual form that I could possibly ever be in.
Women grow hair, then women decide to shave. Like, that's not something women do, that's something they were told to do at some point. Every time I walk downstairs in shorts in my house, my mom's like, it'll tell my grandma, like, look at her hair. And my grandma's just like, that's how it used to be.
I remember once I was showering with one of my ex-boyfriends, and I was like, I feel like shaving today. And he's like, why? Why do you want to shave? And it was like, oh, because I can do whatever I want. That's why. There is somebody that I'm interested in, and I'm like nervous. I was like, what if he doesn't like the hair on my legs? Like, what if he thinks that's gross? But I also wouldn't want to be with somebody who thinks that, so.
For me personally, I'm not going to be with someone that has a problem with it. They can go fuck themselves. Yeah.
I mean, some days I still struggle. I think people are under the impression that I have it figured out. I don't at all. But I think deep down, like when I'm with myself, I think I feel more whole and beautiful than I've ever felt.
My name is Ayqa Khan.
My name is Hernandez.
I'm Alexandra Marzella.
And I'd like to dispel the myth that
You don't have a choice as to how you want to look.